Questions for Coach?
What stands out on film when you look at the Oregon game?
The thing that stood out the most is that when we had our energy, we matched them and at even times had outplayed them for that first 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes of the game, when we lost our energy, we lost rotations, we lost Brochet, and they made us pay. So I felt like they're a team that they have a great work ethic over the course of a 40-minute game. They have talent, but they just outwork people as well, too. And if you can match their energy, you're going to be right there in the game. Our slippage came when we didn't match their energy last 10 minutes. They stayed at that level, we dropped down, and they ended up winning the game.
How do you get your team to maintain that energy? You're going to have some stretches where you play 3-7 or 2-5 in the Pac-12. How do you get them to sustain the energy in games like that this season?
I think the biggest thing is for us right now is just to get our legs back. I mean, that was our second set where we've had our third game in 7 days, Kansas State being the other one. And I felt like even in the Kansas State game, we were great the first half, and we were shorter numbers on our bench. And then as our legs went, our game went, they were able to lock us up and defend us better because they kept us out of transition. The Oregon game, we needed to run more, but when they started scoring buckets, I think they had 6 straight in a row, you're not allowed to run them because you're getting the ball out of bounds versus getting stops. You can get out in transition. And with teams of that caliber, you've got to get easy buckets. So the biggest thing for us is take a couple of days off, kind of get our legs back, get back going with school. It's not so much a matter of conditioning. It's just that we're a little worn because having so many games, being here, lack of energy, whatever. We've been great at creating energy of our own, particularly on that bench.
How do you think Malachi's handled this stretch, I guess, non-conference and going into conference play, playing so many more minutes than you would in a high school game, playing at such a higher level, the pace you guys play at? The conditioning, how has he handled all those things?
He has handled himself extremely well for a freshman. One of the things that we continue to do, having been down this road before, is just watch his legs in practice and things like that. And on days off, he's such a worker. We literally have to sit on him to make him take the time off because what we understand that he doesn't understand is there's still a long stretch of season to go here. He will get worn down. Typically with freshmen, they hit that wall about December, January. I see signs of him maybe a little bit, but not much. He just needs to make sure he doesn't put in all that extra time in the gym. I'd rather have him miss a jump shot or two and have fresh legs than to be in the gym working on his game and get run down when we talk about the competitive nature of what we have to go up against with some of these teams coming up.
That kind of sense he has for knowing how to finish out a game, how to play in the last 5 minutes of the game, so something that a lot of freshmen don't necessarily have their first year. Is that something you saw in high school, or is that something he kind of developed here?
Freshmen definitely don't have that their first year. A lot of players take it to their junior year before they figure that out, and that's why he's so unique. What I saw in him in high school is that here's somebody with what I call a pure point guard because he has point guard mentality, really understands the position, has played the position all of his life. So it was very easy transition for him to go from high school to college because of his knowledge of the game, and he was the perfect fit for our system. And what I mean by that, he already played the way I need him to play. And I remember telling him in high school, you don't have to change a thing. Just get stronger and learn our defensive principles. But offensively, you're going to be playing exactly the same way. It's going to be an easy transition for you, and sure enough, it has been.
It seems like half the conference is starting a freshman point guard. UCLA, Oregon State, you guys, the Huskies. Obviously, Fultz was from the East Coast, but was this an atypically good year for point guards on the West Coast?
Well, it certainly is, and you know, there's been some atypically good years for point guards coming out of Washington. I remember there was a year where we had Appleby, Brooks, Rittenauer. We're all sitting there. James Davis, who played for us also. There was just a crop of them sitting there. We felt we just need to get one of them, and it was Rittenauer one year. It was Brooks coming up down the road, and I just think again, Washington for whatever reason has always generated good point guards. And I go back and say a lot of it has to do, if you go back to when George Karl was here and they put the money into Friends of Hoop and all those programs that they had that went on the AAU circuit. And they started at a young age developing those kids when they're in 4th and 5th grade. And then all of a sudden throughout the years, their skill set has been so good. I credit those programs still coaching and teaching down at that level that give those kids an opportunity to be really good when they're in high school.
So when you have these wave years, is that sort of a positive byproduct of the AAU system, these players playing against each other sort of bring something out of each other?
It definitely is a byproduct of what goes on with the state of Washington basketball, both in high schools and both in the AAU circuit, where players are being very well coached and they're coming up to this level more ready to play skill set wise. It's just a matter of strength and the physicality of the game.
A lot of people have kind of called Malachi a late bloomer. Do you think he was a late bloomer, or do you think coaches were just late to get to him and late to notice him?
He's not a late bloomer. I mean, he looks exactly the same now that he looked in high school. The only difference was he was averaging 30 a game. Now, I don't know how much of a late bloomer that could be. You can go watch a game and see him. I think the thing is, people, when I say people, coaches, fans, media, whatever, people will stereotype people. Too small, too this, too that. I don't look at it that way. I look for fit. I don't care who's recruiting who. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's fit. Josh Hawkinson, case in point. Perfect fit. European stretch four, has a wonderful career with us. Connor Clifford, big guy. He's too slow. He's not too slow. He's a skilled big man. I'm going to isolate the post. I'm going to give him the ball and put shooters around him. You have a hard time guarding him. Malachi, really understands the game, has tremendous feel for the game, can shoot it, knocks down his free throws, smart student in the game, smart in the classroom, good kid, good character. What more do you need to see that says this kid's going to be a great player at this level once his body gets bigger? And sure enough, here he is.
With Jamal Crawford and those guys, the basketball in Seattle really took off, and they started putting a lot of guys in the league. When you look at the Celtics starting backcourt and the last few of your recruits, when did it start to happen in Tacoma?
I think in Tacoma, I'm going to give him kudos, and he better take me to lunch, when Curtis Allen came out, because I remember sitting in Curtis Allen's living room recruiting him to come to Oregon. And felt like he was a point guard we needed in our program because he was heady, he was tough, he was gritty, he could shoot the ball, he understood the game and everything. So I would say about then, and it's just, for whatever reason, it has just blossomed. And a lot of it has to do, again, with the success of those players going out of here, coming back, dumping money into the AU programs and keeping them running and keeping them developing. And then also some really, really excellent coaches over in Tacoma and throughout the state of Washington.
Any more questions?
A wrap? Okay. Recently,
Don't be letting those guys dominate. You sat on there the whole time.
recently, Stanford, they've lost 4 games in a row. Do you feel comfortable going to Stanford and playing at home, at their place?
We have not, and even as a coach, if you look at my career, I've always struggled going down there and playing at Stanford. Had a little bit more success at Cal, but they're still really tough places to play. And you've got 2 teams sitting down there, particularly Stanford, needing a victory so bad. We're going to get a different Stanford team maybe than some of the other teams that have had a chance to beat them, because I see what they're doing right now is really starting to play the guys who are playing the hardest. So you'll see different lineups on the floor, but they play hard. That's first and foremost. And they're going to present some problems for us. We had a hard time with them last year with their size, their ability to score with Humphreys inside, outside. And we got to make sure there's things we're going to have to do and pay attention to. And we've got to be right on. That's why the energy becomes so important to us, which is why I've gave these guys a couple of days off just to get their legs back.
Yeah, speaking about that energy, you guys won 4 games recently in a row. This past game, obviously a loss. Is that momentum going to continue in Stanford? And
I think with the winning of the 4 out of your last 5 out of your last 7 games will do, it gives you confidence. And with confidence comes better play and better momentum. I'm really happy with not only winning the games, but how we've won the games, just defensively and all those things. For us to do the job defensively for 30 minutes against a team the caliber of Oregon before they start to get away from us and really shoot the ball extremely well, that's impressive. So it's not just we're doing it on the offensive end, we're doing things defensively too. And your defense has to travel in this conference, and it needs to travel with us to the Bay Area, because those are 2 good teams we're coming up against.
yeah. Speaking of the Bay Area, I looked up the weather down there. It's going to be around 50 degrees, but it's going to be raining, so
It's a warm rain.
it's warm rain. Do you think that's going to have an effect on the players?
I think it definitely will. I mean, I think, again, I love this campus, I love this community, but this time of the year, When players get out of here, they have a lot of these guys have family members that are coming to the game. That's going to be huge for us. It's a chance to get out on the road and fellowship together. That's going to be huge, to get out of the elements here a little bit and really get in an environment where I think it's going to re-energize them. Is what it's going to do. So I'm anxious to get them on the road, because typically with my teams we come together on the road, and this team has been no different. When we went over to Seattle, we regained our spirit, our energy. We came together and played a great game. We went up to Spokane. We came together. So when you can take a group of men out there and it's just us in those environments, we really rally together, and that takes us to another level of play.
Great. That's it for me.
Do you expect to see Clay down there? Has he reached out yet?
We're going to reach out to him today, and we don't know their schedule, but if he's around, I'm sure he will come to the games. He's been real good at staying supportive of us and everything, and I'm sure he wants to see this team up close and personal. So I'm hoping they're in the area to watch us play.